Nikki with Hula Hydroponics. I hope you can hear me. My audio is acting up a little bit. But this is a video for April. She had a question about seedling, how to germinate, and seedling care. So I'm going to step through my process for April, and hopefully this works. April, I really hope this works. Thanks for asking the question. It's a great question. So I laid out a few products here and different supplies that I use. I'm going to demonstrate my favorite tried and true method for germinating, and then maybe just show some of the other products that you can use and different methods that you can use as well. So I've laid out, this is the clay pebbles. We're going to use this later on in the video when we set our seedlings into the net cups. Some rock wool. These are rapid rooters. Some cocoa coir mixed with perlite. These three methods are going to be demonstrated or talked about, if not exactly demonstrated, for germination. And for that part of the video, I have some lettuce seeds. And then when we get to setting the net pot, I have a seedling here. It's not a very healthy seedling, but it will work for the demonstration. A net cup. And I have some water, pH balanced water for this, and a few other items that we'll get to. So we'll start with germination. You can germinate in rock wool. This is very common. Keep it moist, and you put your seed in the center there, and after you place your seed, and I'll go ahead and do that. I use a little chopstick or something, moisten the tip. Grab a couple seeds, place it in there. I always use two because I want to increase my germination chances on that. Once they're in there, then you can just pinch it closed. Oops, it's a little leaky. Or I like to push the sides down over the seed. This is moistened with pH balanced water, plain pH balanced water. I use 5.5 during germination. So I'm going to set that aside. The other product that I love to use is a rapid rooter. This is my absolute favorite. It has a deep reservoir that is commonly used for propagating starters. So you cut your starter, you stick it in there, and it should propagate. But I really like these. These are a natural product. I don't know what they're made of, but they're packaged and promoted to be all natural. The thing is, for starting seeds, lettuce seeds rather, the reservoir, that's the hole in here, is pretty darn deep for the lettuce seed. So you have a couple of choices. When I first started doing this, I would pinch off a bit of the bottom of the material, backfill the hole, place the seed inside, and then cover it again with a little pinch of the product. But this is a really big product. They're 50, you get a 50 count for about $15 US, so that's pretty expensive for what I'm using them when it comes to planting seeds. So I try to spread my money, get better value out of these. So I cut them in half. And I still backfill that top part, and for the bottom part, I will take some scissors and simply snip out a new hole. That's what I do. Reserve that for backfilling. So the moisture level for the rapid rooters is you simply squeeze it into a little bit of pH balanced water, let go, and that's all you need to do. And that's the perfect water retention or moisture level for using these for germinating. So I'll go ahead and plant a couple of seeds in here as well. I might have to just use my finger. Let's see. I just want to get a couple in there. I think I have 3 in there. That's okay. It's for the video. I'll moisten this up as well. Do the same thing. 1, 2. There are better ways of doing this. I'm just going to put 2 in there. And again, using a little bit of, let's get that in there, a little bit of the pinched off material. cover the hole. Let's get it a little wet. There we go. I'm just going to cover the hole. I'm not really I'm not packing it in, I'm just placing it on top. Enough so that it's secure in the hole. I'll place that aside. Do the same thing for this one. Pinching off a bit of the bottom. Placing it on top. I like to use little bits of it, kind of to mimic soil instead of one big piece. So, a little piece, and that's it. So I'm going to set those aside. Another way is to germinate your seeds would be using the coco coir. This has been moistened with pH balanced water. I also use 5.5 pH balanced water for moistening the coco coir. If you do get coco coir, test it. Test your pH. You can grab a handful of it, really saturate and make a slushy mixture of it in a cup. Put your pH meter in there, and that'll give you an idea of what your pH is on your coco coir, and then you can add your water appropriately. You know, pH balance your water appropriately. If it's really high pH in your coco coir, you want to use a lower pH to balance that out. So that's it. So you do the same thing, coco coir, you just germinate. I sprinkle. I kind of like this, and I really wish I could nail this process down. I have not been as successful using this because I like that I can separate the seedlings once they germinate, and I don't feel like I'm losing them, because in the plugs or the rapid rooters or the rock wool, when you germinate more than one seed, you tend to have to, I'm going to redo this one as I talk, you have to pinch off the one that you have to thin them out. What you have to do, you have to thin them out. So I feel like I'm losing, I'm losing my seeds, I'm losing plants. So I'm really trying to get the coco coir method down, but the rapid rooter is by far my favorite. I have high 90% in germination rate. Going back to coco coir, so the moisture level that I try to keep for the coco coir when I'm planting the seed is similar to soil. You grab a handful, it sticks together, and it does that. This is a teeny bit dry, but I'll balance that out when I spray the seed. So it's kind of like that, sticks together. And I like working with the coco coir. It doesn't really stain your hands like soil. So then we'll go ahead and lightly cover them up, just like you do when you're germinating in soil. Just like that. Gently tap it down so that the coco coir is touching the seeds. And spray. And then from here you would germinate normally. Let's see. I do have something that I use. Let's see. I use a counter part to this. Cover it up. Keep it in a warm, dark place until they germinate, and that's it. That's how I germinate those. But back to the rapid rooter, this is what I do differently. It's a little unconventional. I like it. It really works for me. So I like to use an ice cube tray. And I have holes drilled out. They're about half-inch holes drilled out. And that's because once I've planted, and I'll go ahead and do that, planted the little seeds in their little starter medium, whether it's a rapid rooter or the rock wool. Then I'll fill this in. I'll place it into this little toolbox that I found that it fits perfectly in here. I'll put just enough water in the bottom until you kind of see them throughout all the holes. I see a little solution of the pH balanced water through the holes. And that's to keep the moisture level up and the humidity levels up within the container. I cover it up just like that. I just close it, cover it up in a warm place. I have a heating mat that I use, and that's it. And I'll let them germinate just like this. The problem is I have to watch this very carefully to make sure that as soon as they germinate, I give them ample light. And you had a question about lighting, April. So the lighting that I use is a fluorescent lighting. It is at the 6500 Kelvin color spectrum, so a cool blue light, very cool light. You don't want to use, recently I found out all kinds of stuff about leggy seedlings. You don't want to use any of the warmer temps towards your seedlings. The warmer temps causes the seeds to stretch and look for more light. The cooler light that I've noticed when I was experimenting will create a nice, the blue light will bounce across the canopy, and I've noticed the seedlings will flatten out and really open up to receive that light, and you have a really pretty seedling the way it's supposed to be from the start. So let's see what comes next. So next, after they've germinated, the next thing I do, my process, again unconventional, is I take this entire tray of germinated seeds, or mostly germinated seeds at this point, and then I place them into, let me put this aside for just a sec to demonstrate this. It's a shoebox, a plastic little shoebox picked up at the dollar store, and I have dremeled out this opening that takes this tray perfectly, and this is where the seedlings will live out in their nursery. This is now their nursery, and I fill this solution level up to the point, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I will fill it up to where the solution level touches the bottom of the tray, the ice tray, where the holes are, so that ensures that the grow cubes or whatever grow medium that you have are touching the solution so that it can wick up the solution, and the solution is kept at 50% strength, half strength. You want to treat your seedlings very gently, and again, those are kept under the 6500 Kelvin fluorescent light. The light is only about maybe 8 to 9 inches above the seedlings, so their light level is kept really low. Then after they've germinated, I will take the entire cube with the seedling, and just so that you can imagine. So now we have a seedling and a grow cube, and what do we do with that next? So after about 2 weeks, the seedling should look something like this while they're sitting in the nursery. Maybe about a week and a half is probably pretty good enough. So then, oh, that goes back in there. So I take the entire seedling in the grow cube, and it gets transferred to this net cup. This is a 2-inch net cup, and I don't know if you can see, this is a little kale seedling, but if you can see the grow cube in there, the whole cube and all of the seedlings placed in the net cup. And then the clay pebbles that were shown earlier are placed around the seedling for support. It also helps block the light to the grow medium, the cube that you have, regardless of what you use, even if you use coco coir, whatever you use. And that will help eliminate any algae growth on top of the grow medium. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do this part, transferring it to the net cup. But I'm going to use the seedling here. So it doesn't matter if the seedling was in a grow cube or not, but here's a seedling. Here's the net cup, and here is some clay pebbles. So I'm going to support the seedling. I would prefer to have the roots touch down through the bottom of the net cup, so that when the solution level, so it will be at a level or a length of the so that the roots extend down through the net cup and it can wick up the solution. Now I'm going to very gently add some clay pebbles. Just like that. And just keep adding them in. There has to be an easier way to do this. I haven't figured it out. It's a lot easier when you have the cube, and then seedlings in the cube. You just, oops, toss the cube and all in there. It's pretty supported. Alright. So, support seedling. There we go. Now it's in there. Let's see. I don't really see the roots in there, but I see them. They're right about there, which is just fine. Because once your seedling is in your net cup, you're going to place them into what would probably be your final grow medium, or your grow container rather. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the video over. I'll grab the camera and we'll head on over there. completely unedited. Here we go. So this was the seedling that we just set right here. And so if you have a final container, you'll have something that has holes cut out with 2-inch holes to take your cup, or 3-inch holes, or whatever you're going to go ahead and grow in. But you then place it into your final grow container. And the solution level when you're first starting your grow needs to be high enough to reach your roots. Usually you cover about the, let me get this back into view. Usually you cover about the last 1/4 inch, the bottom 1/4 inch of your net cup. And that's the solution level that you start off with in your grow. And you place it in, and then away it goes. So I'm going to use a bigger container to demonstrate that. So let's see, we've already gone through germination, we've had our seedlings in a nursery for a couple of weeks, and then you would set it into your final grow container, something like this. The solution level within the grow container would be high enough to cover the bottom 1/4 inch of the growth. You want to make sure you're reaching the roots that are in there. So there are some roots, I do see them right past the bottom of the net pot. It reaches the bottom of the net pot, so I know a 1/4 inch will completely emerge or submerge those roots. And then, let's see, as that continues to grow, then you'll have mature heads just like this. And you'll see in here, if I can bring it out, this is the 2-inch net pot. This is how the seedlings were set and supported by the clay pebbles. And now it's in the 2-inch holes that are cut out in the solution, in the container, with the solution in there. And that's it. So this is towards the mature growth. These lettuce heads are ready for harvest. Oops, dead ones underneath, that happens. And that's it. Hopefully, Miss April, this has been useful and this is helpful. Go ahead and ask us if you have any questions. As always, we are here for you. I appreciate you asking, and again, I really hope this was helpful. Take care and aloha.